Hi all. In this talk, we're going to look at good strategy, bad strategy. Sorry about that. Don't need to hear myself. Good strategy, bad strategy, chapter 8, and Dr. Rumel's concept of chain link systems. This is an interesting concept and is derived from the old phrase that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And this is true if the overall chain is used to carry a weight at the end. And in business, the interdependencies on other elements of the chain can often be analogous to chains links. In fact, there are many times in a business that there are a series of elements or production lines or sales groups linking to operations, linking to customer service, linking to the buyers, the cost of funds, all those things, they all have to work in unison in order for the weight or the business to go forward. So I think this is an interesting point and something that is good for you as you become more as strategic thinkers and strategists to start looking at things. When you look at a company, where is this weak link? Because a weak business link can affect the performance of the whole chain, of course, but also it can start affecting the positive and strong links in the company because people don't like to see an area that's not performing when they are performing. It kind of dumbs down the entire process. Why should I be at the top of my game when they're not? Or if even if I do the best I can in this production line, because I'm dependent upon this other one, I can't do it. You know, my brother, years ago when he first started working at Hewlett Packard, he had one of his jobs as a scheduler. And a scheduler goes around, and when there's a problem with a production line, you go around and figure out whose fault it is. So, for example, if a calculator, the screen was not ready to be put in place there, he would go and find out, why is that screen not ready? They would come up with a story, other people would come up with a story, and you'd say, you're right, you're wrong, and assess really a dollar amount penalty to that area. The concept is everything has to be working together to make it work well. I'll put a converse on that. I've seen many times in companies where a really strong link does strengthen the other links. If you really are committed to quality service, excellence, the way you treat your customers, for example, that your team always puts forth the best effort, it's infectious. If you really, especially if you make a conscious effort to spread that feeling and that positive view and that work ethic around the company, it can start moving through the organization. It's just that it's not easy and it takes time. But so I think that what a key element here is when you're looking at this, at a company, you're looking for, and a business, you say, what are the limiting factors? What are the things that detract, stop, inhibit the company or this unit from attaining the strategic goals? And you want to get the business unstuck, as he puts it, by identifying those limiting factors, and you work on them. And you work on them in sequence. The thing is, sometimes you get almost overwhelmed. And you say, well, there are a whole bunch of things that are not working. You know, by the way, I sometimes think of business. I know when I was in banking, like that whack-a-mole game where the kids play, where the different moles pop up. As soon as you hit one, something else pops up. Everything is connected. So you have to be constantly diligent and look and almost enjoy the process of constantly working all these things. When you see, like say your cost of funds is too high, what can you do to fix that? Your material cost is unguaranteed. You don't know where you're going to get your next quality material or whatever it is you need to build your product. Well, fix that so that you have a steady stream. You're unsure of the future cost of your material. Lock in the price of long-term contracts. You work on one thing at a time and do not expect overnight success from coming from that. It takes a bit of time for these things to kick in. You have to have the discipline, the power, and the concept that I need to fix these things because I've got my business as a long chain. I need to fix them all. As a strategist, what you will do in a company, you'll look and see, where are these things? How can they be fixed? You suggest them to management, you fix them, and things start getting a lot better. You know, you look at some strong chains like IKEA. Why don't people compete with IKEA? It's obvious what they do. It's obvious they're successful. It's just that their chain of events, their chain of things, their inventory, their production, their design, everything they do is so robust and so well done. Companies look at them and they are afraid. They think, I can't do that. I could not marshal my entire forces to do that. So they're able everyone knows what they're doing. They still don't have competitors. eBay, a lot of companies, a lot of internet-based companies can do the exact same thing. But the bigger they get, the bigger they get. The more things they have, the more people work with them. So it's difficult until they start becoming inefficient and not working well for you to compete with them. Often a smaller company has a lot of strong chains because they'll just have the team in the room they can work on, and that helps a lot too. The links to our other reading on, for example, the principles of strategy are clear. You want to honestly assess the current situation, and that's the same thing as identifying your limiting factors or your weak links, for example. You need to be clear and honest with yourself on what's going wrong. And you need to define what the company should be doing. What is our real aim? Not what we are doing, what we should be doing. Sometimes you find yourself going off in a direction you shouldn't be doing. That's what you're doing. What should we be doing? Redefine that, focus on that, then you can identify where the links are and inhibiting factors are and attack them. And you always want to identify the gap between what you have and what you wanted. That's your gap to work on. That's your gap. So these things all play into, they're very closely related. The other thing I would always say from the principles of strategy is focus on people. Always get the most intelligent, the most flexible, the most hardworking and committed people you can find. They cover a lot of problems. If you have that, your weak links tend to go away often on their own. Get good people in place. Have them energized, working well, and working together on these straight concepts of let's deal with our gap, let's deal with our inhibiting factors, let's deal with our weak links, and you'll come up to success. Thank you very much.